Happy Friday. It's very hot in Joburg today. It's like summer's come in. Trying to see if I can find these articles. Do I still have them here? Yo. I made a video a couple of weeks ago speaking about some of the changes that are coming into the Marriage Act and the Divorces Act in South Africa. Not a lot of people watched that video, and that's kind of okay by me. But now some of the stuff I discussed in that video is now coming out. And one of the stories that has been trending over the past 2 days, outside of the shooting of Charlie Kirk in America, has been that the Constitutional Court in South Africa has ruled that husbands can now take their wives' surnames. And people have lost their shit. Yeah, it was my second note. Men can now take women's surnames. Let me see. I had articles written here. A case to allow husband to take wife's surname. The other one, which is also coming, is polyandry. When that one comes out, that's also going to drive a lot of people crazy, because there's a white lady in Durban, I think, if I'm not mistaken, who's got 2 husbands. Now, the other husband is not legally allowed, so they're taking this case on, and chances are it's going to go all the way to the Constitutional Court to say that if men can have more than one wife, then why can't a woman have more than one husband? And people are losing their marbles. dailymaverick.co.za, this is from the 4th of March 2025, written by Sune Payne. South African men cannot at present take their wife's surname or have their surnames hyphenated. So that's double barrel. People may not know this, but that's not allowed. The Constitutional Court appears likely to change that, which is the ruling that came out recently. All 2 white men, I see a lot of black guys losing their marbles. All 2 men wanted to do was to take their wives' surnames, until they found out, according to Home Affairs, that they could not. Now, the case has been taken to the country's apex court. The couples at the center of the application claim in court papers that the Births and Deaths Registration Act of 1992, which provides for a change in the surname only when there is a change in the marital status of a woman, is unconstitutional. According to court papers, such laws and regulations perpetuate gender norms set by a patriarchal society that entrenches gender inequality, according to the applicants. They call for Regulation 18(2)A of the Regulations of the Registration of Births and Deaths Act 2004 to be declared unconstitutional, as it discriminates against men by failing to provide for the change of the marital status of a man. The matter was heard in the Constitutional Court on Tuesday, 4 March 2025, where the court was asked to give a confirmation order of a previous ruling in the Free State High Court, which in September 2024 ordered that a man could assume his wife's surname or have a double-barreled surname. So I'm reading through this very quickly. Currently, the position is that the husband may not take his wife's surname, except after an application to the General of the Department of Home Affairs, which may or may not be declined, depending on whether the directors of the view that good and sufficient reason. One of the applicants in the case, Yanar Jordan, decided not to change her surname after her marriage. Her parents died when she was 4 years old, and the surname, she said in her founding affidavit, symbolized my connection to them. She loved her surname, Jordan. She'd go on and marry a man, Henry van der Merwe, who was like, I support my wife keeping her surname, Jordan. And he said, in unity with my wife, I would also like to take on the Jordan surname. And Home Affairs said, nah, we born with van der Merwe. System does not allow, okay. In the papers, Jordan stated it was a very emotional and ultimately upsetting end to a wonderful day. I was devastated and powerless as I realized that regardless of whether the staff members wanted to assist us, they simply did not have the power to do so. Donnelly's maiden name held significant importance to her as an only child. Before their marriage, she expressed that she wanted to keep her maiden surname and would prefer to hyphenate her husband's surname. The couple did not want to have separate surnames, nor did they want to have different surnames from any of their future children. The pair decided to combine their surnames to reflect their new family unit to Donnelly Borman. They were married in April 2022. After the honeymoon, they went to Home Affairs in Botshabelo, July 2022, as she needed a new ID document and a passport which reflected her new surname, double barrel, while her husband tried to change his name to the new family name of Donnelly Borman. According to court papers, Home Affairs rep informed the couple that he couldn't change his surname. The couple did not receive clarity on why this was impossible. Fast forward to, let's see here. The applicants contend that the fact that men cannot take their wives' surnames is inconsistent with provisions of Section 9 and 10 of the Constitution, which deal with equality and dignity. According to the court papers, the applicants state gender discrimination, not only in our society, but historically is well established and entrenched. The applicants go further and claim that the acts and regulations undeniably differentiate between people or groups of people. They differentiate on the basis of sex and gender. They question what legitimate government purpose is served by the differentiation in that the act and regulations preclude the assumption of the surname of a woman by a man. There is no cogent, rationally defensible purpose that the applicants could find. The differentiation is tantamount to unfair discrimination and can no longer be tolerated, they say. I will not read the rest of this. Men are pissed. Black men are angry. I fully sympathize and empathize and am in full support of the Jordan family, Jana and Henry, who are hopefully going to be Jordan now. Henry loses his old surname, his maiden surname of van der Merwe. I'm in full support of the Donnelly Borman family who wanted to have a double barrel surname. The woman can get it. It's fine for you, my lady. The man couldn't. And they're like, so the lady's going to have a double barrel. The kids are going to have a double barrel. But the father can't change his surname because he's a man. Couple of points. Number one, this ruling by the Constitutional Court is giving men more rights than they had before. This ruling is not for women, contrary to popular belief. The men are the ones that are going to benefit in the sense that women can still get a man's surname. No one is preventing them from that. Women can still get married. No one's preventing them from that. But men were the ones being prevented from making a choice to change their surname. Imagine this. Many of the guys out there are being raised by single mothers. Many of those guys are carrying their mother's surname. Now imagine later on they say, no, I want to change to my father's surname. And you're told, no, you can't. You must take the surname that you grew up with. That is now a violation and a limitation of a man or a boy's rights. When that same man decides, oh, I want to get married, but I was raised by a single mom, I had her surname. Later on, I went to Home Affairs and I changed to my father's surname. Now I'm getting married, I would like to take on wife's surname. No, sir, you can't do that. So the Constitutional Court is saying, men, your rights have been violated. You have a right to choose. You don't have to keep the surname that you have. You can take your single mother's surname, you can take your father's surname, and now you can even take your wife's surname. And if you want to keep your surname and your wife's surname, you can now have a hyphenated double barrel surname. I fully support this. There is nothing wrong with that at all. These were two white couples that did that. It was not black couples, even though black people are the ones losing their minds. Number two, the Constitutional Court is not forcing any man to take on a woman's surname. That is not the ruling, but people are acting like it is. The Constitutional Court is not giving women a right to say you can decide if your husband takes your surname. Women are not being given that right. Women are also, and have always had the right to say, I will not take on his surname. That is not something that has been ruled in, and that has got nothing to do with the ruling now to say, ma'am, if you don't want to take your husband's surname, you can keep yours. That is something that's existed and it hasn't changed. But people are angry. Surnames are not African. The British colonial system, when it was enforced in South Africa, would force black people to come up with surnames, the ones that we have today. We had clan names, we had the names of our fathers. Sometimes it would be his real name or a nickname. And when you would be asked who you are, you would say, my name is Upenwel, Umfanaga Zwelake. Penwell, the son of Zwelake being my father. Sadly, yes, patriarchal, because it wouldn't necessarily include the moms. Sometimes it could, but generally it was the father. That's why when we speak of one of the most celebrated kings in South Africa, Ushaka, we speak of Ushaka Kasenza Ngakhona, of the Zulu people. But Ushaka Kasenza Ngakhona, his father was known as Usenza Ngakhona Kajama. All the way to today, where Umisu Zulu does not have a surname. His father, Uzwelithini, did not have a surname. We call him Umisu Zulu Uzwelithini. The British royal family, by the way, doesn't have surnames either. Prince Harry, Prince William, King Charles, the late Queen Elizabeth, they would be known by where they come from, of Windsor, or of Wales, or of Sussex, an area. Don't have surnames. We did not have surnames until British colonial systems and documentation and IDs forced us to. Those of you who are Christian should know that people in the Bible don't have surnames. They might say you are Jesus of Nazareth, a place where you come from, Jesus the son of Mary, referencing to your mother, but you do not have a surname. This surnames thing is relatively new. And you know, it's so varied around the world. In places like Iceland, you still take your father's name. And then if you're a boy, they add son at the end. If you're a girl, they add daughter. So if my father's name is John, my surname becomes Johnson. My sister will be John daughter. In places like Russia, you get a surname like Putin. If you're a man, it ends there. If you're a woman, it becomes Putina, to say that this is a woman that's got that name. In some parts of the world, they have mononyms. You know, when we speak about people like Socrates and Plato and Pythagoras, they didn't have surnames. What's Pythagoras' surname? What's Socrates' surname? They didn't have. Even if you watch the movie Gladiator, Russell Crowe, where he speaks about Maximus, I'm Maximus, what, son of what, from. That's how we'd identify each other. Penwell, Kazwelake, sorry, Uzwelake wasempophumeni, where he comes from. Upenwell wasemadadeni, eNyukhasela, ozalwa Uzwelake wasempophumeni, eHawiki, KwaZulu. That's who we were. Even when you look at some of the Afrikaans coming from Dutch surnames, Peter van der Merwe, van der is from a place. Van der Heever, van den Watwa, from, wase, kwa. That's where our surnames come from. But we've made surnames this really huge symbolic thing, which actually comes from colonial structures. And not only have we made it a big deal, people fight, hurt each other, kill each other. Paternity testing, where a child is being raised as a Sotho boy of Mutaung. Hey, Mutaung, the people of the land, the Sotho, the mountains, the people of Mshweshwe. Only to find out that the mom lied and slept with two men. And he's actually Upenwel wakwaZulu. Umfana wakwaZulu le konongoma komsinga komuntu about umlando kaShaka. Your mom lied about your entire identity. And those are extreme ones. It could happen just with families close by. You thought you were umlojo, but you're actually not umlojo. You're umumalo. You thought you were umumalo, but uzondo. You thought you were uzondo, but uhlatshwayo. Because the mother, the grandmother somewhere lied. And it's just surnames colonial. Instead of holding on to who your father is. Who is your father? Via your pa. Surnames need to be challenged as a concept. They were identifiers. Clan names, which don't feature on your ID documents, are something you don't have to lose. If I name my child Penuelina, I'm not defying my ancestors. I'm adding. If I decide to leave the Zulu culture and I follow Christianity, I do not have to swear at Zulu culture or denigrate it. I can still acknowledge I come from a lineage and a heritage of Zulu. And in my generation, I decided to forego Zulu customs of slaughtering, impepo, mbeleko, memulo, all these things. I said, thank you. I appreciate this journey that's taken me here. I will now carry on further with the teachings of Jesus Christ. That is me adding. Because understand culturally, culture was not born from the heavens. It is something that is man-made. When you say Shaka Senza Ngakono, Senza Ngakono is a name that was given, like Penuelina. Misuzulu is a name given, Zwelithini, Mtobisi, Lungiswa, Danisile. Those are names given. But now it's a surname that you're holding on for dear life. And you're like, someone gave someone that name. I know the Mandela family, a lot of the kids take their grandfather, great-grandfather's surname Mandela, even if it is not their father's surname, because of the weight of the name. It carries more weight, it opens doors for them. We need to allow couples, the Constitutional Court and others, need to allow couples to manufacture their own names. The man doesn't only need to take the woman's surname, doesn't only need to be double-barrel. What if they want to create a new name? The same way they will name their children, why can't they give themselves a surname? We once went to visit Paris. It changed our lives. That's where we fell in love. That's where we decided we'll be married and start a family. We will now be known as Mr. and Mrs. Paris. Why not? Why not? We've got a group of South Africans who are the forgotten children, the colored community. Some of them would take on the surname of the white man who impregnated their moms, whether through sexual assault or mutual love, and they would have Afrikaans surnames. Some would take on the surnames of the Xhosa or the Khoi, San people. Some of them would take on months of the year, January, October, September, as surnames. Some people take their surnames from trees, especially if the tree is big. Then umthi omkhulu, translated being Grootboom. Those become surnames. Or where your family comes from is near a river, Emfuleni, abantu bakasemfuleni, abantu bakangubo, abantu basentabeni, the Ntabeni people, Khoza, Nyoni, bird, Ntuli, dust. I've already mentioned Mutawung, the lions, Mukwena, the crocodile, and many others. Abantu bakankomo, a cow, Humu. We need to have conversations about surnames. What they are now, what they should be, and what they can be. In a space where we're struggling with identity. I'll speak about identity a bit later. Black South African men are angry, saying that the Constitutional Court ruling is disrespectful to African culture. It's not. The Constitutional Court ruling has nothing to do with African culture and customs. They are not saying that the Zulus and the Xhosas and the Sutus and the Tswanas and the Pedis and the Xitsongas and the Venda people and the Ndebele and the Swat, they're not saying that those people must now, the men must change their surname. They are not saying that the women there must now force their husbands to change their surname. Nowhere in that ruling does it touch on customary law. Anyone saying that is losing their marbles. The other thing Black South African men are frustrated about is that They feel like black South African women are now going to marry men from Nigeria, the DRC, Bangladesh, India. And then these men, very cheekily, are going to now, strategically, are now going to take on these women's surnames and then be seen as South African citizens. So Adebayo is now going to be Adebayo Dlamini. Abdul is now going to be Abdul Nkosi. They have an issue with that. They have an issue with that. Nelson Mandela would go and marry a Mozambican woman, Graça Machel. He would give that woman his surname. No hoo-ha, no issue. Hugh Masekela would go and marry a woman from Ghana. Marry her, give her his surname, Masekela. No issues. Any black South African man can marry a woman from anywhere in the world, give that woman his surname, bring her to South Africa. No issues. But all of a sudden, it's a problem when a black South African woman wants to marry a man from anywhere in the world and that man wants to take her surname. What does this tell you? It tells you that black South African men want to dominate and dictate and bully how South African women move. As if they can't date and marry men from other parts of the world. But they can. You do what you want. You call her name, Ucholofina. When a black South African guy is dating a chick from Zimbabwe, from Nigeria, there's no derogatory term for that. If he's dating a chick from India, Pakistan, hey, they might even congratulate, hey, usilethele India, usilethele Kalati. No derogatory name for you. But because some of these black South African men look down on black South African women, they do not see the agency of these women to make their own decisions. Are there black South African women who are involved in crime, who are involved in fronting, who will probably be involved in helping foreign men who are here to do dodgy things, get married, almost like a green card in America, change their surname and be seen as citizens? Yes. There will definitely be women like that. Are those women doing good things? No. But if you want to stop that, then you must take away the rights of the black South African men as well, because they can do the same thing. A black South African man can also be involved in crime. He can also front and bring a woman who's a trafficker from Eastern Europe and then marry her and change her surname to Mazibugo. And then she moves around here as a South African. They're like, oh, but it was Mrs. Ava Mazibugo. Ava Mazibugo. Oh, that's a South African. Then all of a sudden you bump into a woman who's blonde, blue eyes, white, from Eastern Europe, involved in some type of crime. That same black South African guy can go get a woman from Bangladesh, call her Mamu Shabalala. And then Mam Shabalala can go and open a spaza shop. Now Mam Shabalala's got a spaza shop. She can call all her male cousins to come and work in that spaza shop because she's a South African woman who's married to a South African man. So this hypocrisy and these double standards for me are from a place of ignorance, a place of stupidity, and a place of just the oppression and the looking down and the condescension of women, which I don't support. I have huge support for South African women, for black women, for all women. I believe men and women are equal. I'm one of those stupid people that believe that. Not biologically, of course, and not in many other ways. Men can't carry babies. Women don't have penises, definitely. But we are equal. If a man can give a child a name, a woman can give a child a name. If a man can give a child a surname, a woman should be allowed to give a child a surname. If a man can marry any woman from around the world and give that woman his name, a woman should be allowed to do the same. Why not? Why not? That stuff must change. I found that very upsetting, those double standards from the gents, and I want to call the gents out and say, please do better. Please do better. And as I said, the Constitutional Court ruling is not infringing on your culture, because you don't have to follow that. Your daughter doesn't have to follow that. If she decides to follow that, that's within her rights. You want your daughter to be a lawyer. You want your daughter to be a doctor. You want your daughter to be an engineer. These professions that were only reserved for men in the past. You want your daughter to earn her own money and buy her own house. Why can't she marry a man and give the man your name, her surname? You want to limit your daughter's rights, but your son can go ham He can do whatever the fuck he wants. That's toxic patriarchy. Toxic. It's not rooted in anything that has to do with equality and fairness and people's choices. Identity. Identity. Before identities, I want to say this. Black South African men have got no issue and will boast about working for a company that is carrying another man's name. McDonald's, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Cooper, Deloitte, Sneemans, Hogan Lovells, Norton Rose. You can think of it. A lot of these audit firms, some of the banks, your JP Morgans, Goldman Sachs, some of your insurance companies, some of your legal firms carry men's surnames. And you beat your chest. Oh, I work at ENS. I work at Ernst & Young. You do realize those are men's surnames. No issue with that. No issue with your woman working in those companies, celebrating other men's names. She even wears uniform, written McDonald's, as if she belongs to the McDonald family. No issues. The same men have no issues wearing clothes that have got other men's names on them. Prada, Dolce and Gabbana, Gucci, Tom Ford, Versace. We can keep going. You guys have got no issue wearing other men's surnames. You pride yourself. You actually even compete and look down on people that can't afford that man's surname. Tsepo jeans. Your woman can wear those names, especially the European ones. The ones I mentioned, the Prada, the Gucci, the Dolce and Gabbana. Oh, my woman wears it's another man's surname. South African men have no issues wearing other men's surnames, boasting about working in companies with other men's surnames. But they've got an issue with other men choosing to take their wife's surname. No. They've got an issue with other men choosing to take their wife-in-law, their father-in-law's name. Ubaba uPatrice Mutsipe, who has been such a great influence in my life. I met his daughter, we got together, we got married, and he's added so much value to my life. He's contributed to my family, Abagamlocho. He's helped my family members get jobs, get skills, travel the world. I owe so much to this man. And to honor him, I would like to take on his name, and I've asked for his permission, and I've even asked his daughter, can I please also be Mr. Mutsipe? And he adopts me into his family. That's an issue. But it's okay if I work for the Mutsipe company and I boast. It's okay if I wear clothing written Mutsipe. That's okay. But it's an issue if I want to take his name. I married his daughter and she's happy. Identity. The number one reason why Black South African men are so angry, number one reason why so many people are so angry is because Black South Africans lack identity. Black South Africans are lost. They're confused. And I'm reminded every time we're dealing with different issues, from child maintenance to co-parenting, to marriage laws, to divorce laws, to cultural practice. I made videos recently about customary marriages and the fact that if they're not registered, they will be deemed null and void, and that if you are customarily married, you should go and get divorced, etc., etc. People are getting angry. You're confused. I've made videos that say you cannot be Zulu and Christian. You have to pick one. And people got angry. I'm Zulu, but I'm Christian. I'm like, that is wrong. You're confused. Pick one. When you are firm in your identity, I'm a Xhosa man, I'm a Xhosa woman, you don't have to worry about anything. Constitutional Court ruling, High Court ruling, the Magistrate Court. Apparently, the Muslims have said this. The Jewish community has said this. Hey, the Tswanas are saying, like, I'm a Xhosa man, I'm a Xhosa woman, I'm rooted in my identity. I will follow prescription from our Xhosa way of living. How I meet a woman will be done in a Xhosa way. How I decide to sleep with this woman, have sex with her, will be done in a Xhosa way, which is after marriage. How I marry her will be done in a Xhosa way. How we bring our children into the world and introduce them to Iznyanya will be done in a Xhosa way. The way we raise our children and the language that they speak will be done in a Xhosa way. Their customs, the way that they engage in the economy, the way they engage in medicine will be done in a Xhosa way. Mosotho. I'm a Mosotho man. I want to live a certain life. I want to meet a woman. Maybe even I find a Zulu woman. But as a Mosotho man, when I meet this woman, I explain to her, I'm a Mosotho man. This is where I come from. This is what I believe. Understand that I'm meant to be with a Mosotho woman. And because I'm not, I'll have to apologize to my ancestors. And more importantly, I need to apologize to my family and explain why it is that I'm a Zulu woman. And in that, we will speak to the ancestors. We will burn incense. We will slaughter a goat, maybe. And we will welcome you into our family. And you will become a Mosotho woman within our family because you are now living Xhosa into. Similarly, if this Mosotho man goes and meets a Christian woman, you will now leave Christianity to come and join the Sotho culture and way of being. We praise Mudimo through our ancestors. You will follow that. If you are a Christian, there's the Bible. This one is even better than culture because it's written. There's a Bible you can follow. There's a pastor, pastors, church elders. There's the internet where you can get interpretation. What does it mean to be a Christian man and a Christian woman? How do I have sex after marriage? How do I get married? In a church or in front of witnesses, in front of God? How do we raise our kids? They're born, we baptize them as Christians. They go to Sunday school, they learn the word of God, and we raise them to be Christian children. Christian laws are what govern us. Can our kids be homosexual? No. The Bible condemns that. So unfortunately, this is not allowed per my Christian laws. Can I be whatever else? No. What if as a Christian man, I want to be with a vendor woman? I must explain to her I'm a Christian man. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I believe in the Christian God. I read the Bible. I go to church. You are a vendor woman. You follow vendor culture. I want to be with you. I will need you to forsake your vendor culture and the way you guys do things and explain to your family. And we go to church and we pray on it and we fast. Or I will leave the church and I will join your vendor culture and I will be initiated and educated and groomed and conditioned into what it means to be a vendor man and a vendor husband. Culture, tribe, African way of living. Religion, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Rastafarianism, Buddhism, Scientology, whatever your belief system is, Baha'i, Penalism. Then we've got this one, a legal, Western, British, Roman Dutch law way of being. The sad thing about this one is it doesn't have a prescribed lifestyle. It doesn't say how you must raise your kids. It doesn't say, well, in the way that the others do at the very least, how you should get married, what is right and wrong. Like the other ones, do we slaughter anything? Do we burn anything? Is there a certain clothing, type of clothing that we can or cannot wear? A certain type of food we can or cannot eat? A certain medicine we can or cannot consume? Can we marry? It's rigid. This one was brought in brutally into Africa, and South Africa in particular. This one was brought in by British colonizers. And it was further endorsed by other Europeans who settled here. Dutch, French, German, Huguenot, etc. Some who became the Afrikaners. It was brought in through violence, brutally, and it brought in capitalism, which is money, of which when you look at Christianity, when you look at cultural ways of living, there is conversations around money or a medium of exchange, but not like this one. And they enforced their way of living here, which is why we have these things that we have today. Now, this legal way of living, Western way of living, contradicts Christian culture on many different points. Number one, it allows for homosexual relationships and marriages. It gives them rights. Most religions do not give those rights. Most cultural groups do not. These are deemed a sin or anti what we believe in. Transgender as well. They give certain matriarchal privileges, like now, the surname thing. Christianity, like I said, I don't even know if there are surnames, to be honest. In the cultural aspect, there weren't surnames, but today we've said your surname is your father's name. But now this legal way of living is saying, but women can also do the same. Women can also move like this. When it comes to raising children, there's a Christian way, there's an African way, then there's a legal way. The legal way says, forget sex before marriage. You can have sex as long as you are at the age of consent, which is generally 16, but more technically 12, but generally 16. From 16, you can sleep with whoever you want. We allow you. Fuck your religion, fuck your tribe. You can have a child whenever you want. After that, 18 is now when you're no longer a minor. You can have kids. We'll protect you. And if you guys decide to split, which in Christian, you're not allowed to. You guys are together forever under the union of God and Jesus Christ. Under your Zulu culture, even if the husband dies, the woman still stays in the family, in his family, and maybe gets taken over by his brother or his male cousin, etc. But here it's like, no, you guys can split, it's fine. We even have laws when you get married. You get married, you sign a document, you get divorced, just come to us, we'll sign, we'll split you guys, we'll manage your assets and the like. That's this now, this third way of living. If you have children, it's okay, you can co-parent. We've got these offices of family advocates that can organize these things and where these things don't apply here. Culturally, man and woman have a child, the man gets punished, pays damages for doing something he shouldn't have done, you're breaking our law, and then the woman takes the child and they're going to raise the child in the maternal family. Unless if the man and his family decide to go and pay amalobolo for the child that was born to be brought into the man's family. There's laws there. There's a way of Christianity has their own laws as well. The problem is black South Africans and black South African men are confused and lack identity. They pick and choose from the different ways of living, even when they clash. Those guys go to church. They were baptized. They call themselves Christians. They're like, my mom went to church. We used to go to church with my mom. They pray. You see them when they go and play rugby and soccer, they're there with the Holy Cross, even though they're not Roman Catholic. They're there praying, lifting their hands, like praying in huddles. Dear God, please. And then after that, they go and they slaughter. And then by himself, things that the Christian God has said, do not do that shit. Stop fucking slaughtering. Jesus Christ was the ultimate sacrifice. Stop slaughtering. You don't have to slaughter. Stop slaughtering. Don't praise, celebrate, speak through your ancestors. Speak through Jesus Christ. He's the only person you need. Who are these people? That is not Christian. But you take that. And then when you're fighting, after you've married your woman in a church as a Christian, wearing a white dress, which is not Christian, it's paganism, which is not Christian, it's against Christianity. It's nature worship, it's another way of living. Now that you've gotten married in the church, you go and you sign. Now you're worshiping the legal, which is not Christian, because Jesus, the priest, and the witnesses were enough. Then you go in Vusitende and you slaughter a cow and tell umakoti ngenyongo nibe nomabo nibe nomshado nibe nemembeso khokho malobolo. And then you guys have kids. The kids get baptized in the church. Then the kids benzela imbeleko nihlinza imbuzi nibaqokisa iphandla. And then the kid gets registered at Home Affairs under this legal structure. And then you guys get divorced and fight. In the divorce, you guys are not going cultural. You're not bringing all the people that were there umshado when you come and sit the elders to discuss, to say, no, culturally this woman can't leave our family. You don't go back to the church, to the pastor, to say, Pastor, please can we pray on this? Please can we fast on this? Please can we find a way to fix our union, because we know we can't split unless if it's something really serious. I think there's 1 or 2 exceptions in the Bible that allow for divorce. You guys go straight there to the third one, to say, I'm taking him to court. We've started our divorce proceedings. I will get half. And then from there, they take you to a family advocate to discuss what's going to happen with the kids. They're not sending you to your elders culturally, tribally. They're not sending you to Induna, your chief. They're not sending you to Inkosiyeni, your king. They're not sending you to your pastor, the elders at the church, to say, this is what will happen with the children. You are going to this third leg, the legal, to override religion, to override culture, to say we will bully everyone else, because really we bullied ourselves into your way of living. And we will dictate what will happen to the children. And if we deem it fit, we'll even take the children from both of you parents, and we'll take them to social workers and into foster care. Your children. Your children have rights there that supersede Christian Zulu principles. Your children can get you arrested. In Christianity, you're allowed to hit your child. In African culture, you can hit your child. Not abuse them, but to physically hit. No, but it's an assault. Your child can go open a case of assault. My mom, my dad hit me. They assaulted me. I'd like to get them arrested. When you pick and choose between these 3 gods, these 3 ways of living, you are confusing yourself and you are proving that you lack identity. And if you want to find solutions, this will be my parting shot. Go and figure out who you are. As they say in Black Panther Wakanda, Unguba, who are you? They asked this of Russell Crowe's character in Gladiator. Who are you, Gladiator? I am Maximus. Who are you? Ungubani. Oh, I'm Penwell the Black Pen. No, but who are you? Oh, I'm Penwell Lungelo Mlocho. No, but who are you, really? I am Penwell Lungelo Mlocho, the son of Uzwelakhe Phineas Mlocho, the son of Udanisile Alina Amin. Uzwelakhe wasempopomeni, uDanisile wasekuvukeni. I am Penwell Lungelo Mlocho, born of Madadeni, Newcastle, now living in Johannesburg. I am the brother of Penson Tobisi Lungsani Mlocho. I am the brother of Penrose Lungiswa Mlocho. I am the father of Nkunzmalanga, Zulu, Afrika, Shaka, Nkanyezi, Nyanga, Umoya. I am a voice. I am a podcaster. I am an activist. I am a leader in communities. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a musician. I am a writer. I am a man. I'm an African man. I'm a Black African proud man who loves the sport of rugby, who loves music, who believes in doing best for society. It's like, oh, okay. We now know you. Our identity was disrupted, poisoned, decimated by colonial forces. British in our case. They came and they took our fathers out of our homes to force them to work in their industries, to pay a hut tax and a poll tax. They took our mothers out of our homes to go and work in their houses and in their factories and to raise their children. They took our children out of our homes and they forced them into their schooling system to train them to be employees for their companies. They force the money system on us, even where it doesn't make sense and even where it oppresses us. They force laws on us. They force political systems on us, where today we kill each other over titles and positions, and we want to be closer to capital and money and be a member of parliament, and we have lost our essence of who we are. Once you figured out who you were, figure out who you are now, you then have to make a very important decision of where are you going. Yes, you were raised as a Zulu boy, Penwe Lungelo Mlojwa. But do you now want to be a Christian man? Do you now want to create your own religion of penalism? Do you maybe want to just follow the laws of the land, the Constitution as your guiding book? What do you want? And maybe if you want to hold on to the cultural, I'm speaking about the Constitution and the laws, I'm speaking about the Bible and the Quran and the Torah. Maybe these people that want to hold on to tradition, maybe you guys need to write books. Write guiding principles on what it means to be Zulu, Sotho, Tswana, Pedi, etc. So that your people can consult and be like, no. We don't, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. This is our guiding book. But as long as people are confused and they have no identity, they will constantly get triggered and upset by laws that are not theirs, that are coming to intervene and fiddle with theirs. The Constitutional Court ruling has got no impact on cultural laws. If a woman and her husband decide to take the woman's surname, you're no longer cultural. You are operating in another space under the Constitution. You should be removed from cultural practice. If as an African woman you now want to take a second husband, you should be removed from cultural practice. If you now want to engage in polygamy, which exists in the Old Testament, but it doesn't exist in modern Christian ways of living, you are now leaving the church. You are now going somewhere else and doing something else. Figure out who you are. Go fast, go meditate, go on a mountain, go into a cave, take a long walk, take a long drive, go swimming in the ocean, go speak to your elders, go burn incense, go slaughter an animal, go spend time with your children, write down in a diary, vlog, whatever it takes, host meetings, is indaba, likhotlas, host a podcast to go and figure out who you are. Because once you've figured out who you are, anytime someone wants to speak about children, marriage, medicine, money, economics, politics, etc., you will not be confused. You will say, my ultimate power is the king of the Zulus. Beyond him, we're now speaking about uNkulunkulu Mvelinqangi, who I communicate through the ancestors to. They are the only people that can tell me, look, your king is wrong. You must now do something else. Whether you attack the king or you decide to leave that kingdom, you can go and pray and cry and speak in tongues and wait for God to speak to you and to give you signs. That is your ultimate. Your pastor living, but then Jesus and God, who you pray to for answers. And if they're telling you don't do this, don't do that, you follow that conviction and your Bible. Ngapha, if you're not sure, you consult your lawyer. You consult the judges. If you're not happy with the magistrate, you take it up to the High Court. You take it up to the Supreme Court of Appeal. If not there, you take it to the Constitutional Court. And that's who governs you. And the lawmakers are government. The politicians, the lawmakers, and the people that set case law like now. Or if you want another way, go find it. If you want to create your own way, a new path, go and define it under penalism principles and say, this is my way. This is where I'm going. And whenever I'm asked, do you believe in homosexuality? Do you believe in transgenderism? Do you think there should be interracial dating? Do you think we should remove the borders? Do you think women should be able to give a man the surname? Do you believe in surnames? Do you believe in co-parenting? Do you think the child belongs to the mom or the dad? Do you believe in marriage? You're like, let me go and consult my book, my elders, my guiding principle. I will not be dictated to by politicians who are corrupt, by members of parliament who loot. I will not be dictated to by a pope who's sleeping with young boys. I will not be dictated to by a king who does drugs. I will consult my Bible. I will consult my traditional books. I will consult my constitution. I will consult them and then find an answer and follow that. And if people want to violate my rights, I will also consult them on how do we fight back. Do we get weapons? Do we move? Do we migrate, or do we get weapons and fight? Christian crusades, the jihad, fighting for your country as a patriot. Do I fight? I will follow prescription from there. But as long as you're confused in your beliefs, you're never going to find it. Have a great Friday.